Despite the efforts Skypebeard took to keep me in line, I started seeing the cracks in her mask. Is she even wearing a mask? I think it's just a red clown nose.
Honk, honk.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise swearsies, it's just a fact, and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Thank you so much. The Legbeard that fell in love after 3 days apparently wasn't a one-off, as I said on the live stream, and I've been informed in the comments numerous times. So good, I shall make amends by reading Skypebeard part number 2 right now. Skypebeard part 2, or how not to gaslight someone. How not to gaslight? Are you sure? Are you gaslighting me right now? What's happening? Hello once again. Hi there, Zed. Zed here, and a couple of things I want to clear up for ReddX before we begin. Yes, I am spelling lizard people like that on purpose. Say lizard without the R, and you got lizard, which is in reference to Hucklefish from the Y files.
Lizard people do like warm weather.
I mean, we could do that voice when you say it, if that's what you want. That's what we're gonna do. Although, I could have sworn he spelled lizard, not lizard. Oh well, we're too far in it to change it now. If it wasn't obvious enough, I like to talk with a bit of slang, because I think it sounds funny. No, so do I, man. I put a lot of flavor on my speech, but it doesn't come across in text the same way, you feel me? I'll try to ease up a bit, but just know I spell everything a certain way on purpose. Except when I said self of steam. I don't know how the that got past my grammar check. It was funny though. Reminds me of Kevin Bacon in Hollow Man.
Yeah, it's weird.
Also, when my dad was yelling, it wasn't at me. It was to my mom about how I could have done this. He was more upset that this happened than the fact that I did it. Yeah, but it was to your mother about you. As a general rule, I try not to shout too much, you know? But I'll admit, sometimes I break too. Regardless of that, I still gotta stand by. Yeah, probably don't yell. By the morning, we had all made peace, good, and we made a plan moving forward, since Skypebeard was going mad ham in my DMs. Side note, how the heck did I not run sooner? As I'm listening to ReddX read it out loud, I really can't believe I put up with this for as long as I did, but I think that there was a reason. Yeah, the universe speaking to you, man. Teaching you some of them hard lessons. If I might explain, I think I have the answer. Oh yeah, don't let me explain for you. Go ahead, OP. You see, there isn't much concrete evidence to the existence of reptilians. We're back on the okay. Also, I was involved with the Facebook group a good bit by commenting my thoughts on people's experiences, and ReddX was right when he said that he thinks I actually do believe in reptilians being a thing. See? I can suss it out. You just tell me next time, that's fine. I don't consider the premise to be so ridiculous. The reason I laughed at it earlier is because it sort of came out of left field. But I'll expect it next time. OP continues, I did have what I believe to be an encounter with a reptilian when I was really young, but that will be a story for another time. Dude, what? No! You can't just drop that, like, leave that hanging. Did he just wave at you? Did he try to eat you? What happened? Point being, I cannot prove their existence, and so I'm not gonna claim that anything is real. Oh, come on, man. Nothing is real anyways. I'm pretty sure this is only the training simulator for what comes next. So yeah, you tell me about reptilians, I'll tell you about the illusion of reality. Deal? Deal. I have never seen a reptilian in the flesh, as badass as that might be, and my philosophy on them as a species is that they cannot be inherently bad. I mean, just look at us. We humans are freaking crazy. Do I think that there are bad ones? Bro, look up the Dolce base and you tell me. Yes, of course there are bad ones. From Wikipedia, Dulce Base is the subject of a conspiracy theory claiming that a jointly operated human and alien underground facility exists in Archuleta Mesa on the Colorado-New Mexico border near the town of Dulce, New Mexico in the United States. Claims of alien activity there first arose from Albuquerque businessman Paul Benowitz. Somehow I don't think Wikipedia is telling me the things that OP is trying to imply, but maybe the comments can elucidate some more, I don't know. However, we only tend to write about the negative things when it comes to reptilians. David Icke, I'm looking at you! Jesus, is David Icke still alive? Preaching aside, let's not lose focus on the topic at hand. Skypebeard claimed to have contact with benevolent reptilians. Dude, probably because that's the thing that you were talking about. And she's like, yeah, I know them all personally. Come to my house and I'll invite them over. This is so clearly a trap. I felt like this was my only chance to see if what I wanted to believe was real. My younger self was way too short-sighted to see what was in front of me, as were we all at one point. I mean, years later, I'm still short-sighted. Like how I may have screwed myself over because Skypebeard had a history of stalking her exes and might be lurking on Reddit right now. Oh, did I mention that too soon? It's fine. Y'all will see. Oh my god. Are we gonna get a double POV Skypebeard arc? Because that's exactly what's going on with Osgood. That might be a bit too coincidental for me to stomach, but I would be interested to see it happen. It was a week after the initial fallout between Skypebeard and I, as I began to learn my new place in life. That being, get up, go to work, let Skypebeard know that I'm at work, get off work, let Skypebeard know I'm off work, get home, chill for a bit, and then heed Skypebeard's calls. Were you actually into this chick though? That's what I really want to know. Like everybody wants to call their significant other a Legbeard or Neckbeard after the fact, but during the relationship, why would you comply to all of these things? Just because of the aliens? I don't think so, man. I think you liked her. I think she was giving you some attention that you never felt before. Although, maybe I presume too much. If I so much as forgot to message back 5 minutes after her initial message, I will get a passive-aggressive text. If I'm lucky, more often than not, she'll just call me with little to no warning. I wanted to be a good friend, because I felt that I was responsible for her happiness. God, we see this one far too often, too. Let me level with your viewers. You are not responsible for anyone else's happiness, except for your own. Firmly 100% true, but it takes a good decade of pain and heartache to come to realize that. But we're all here in the simulation to learn different lessons, ain't we? Now take note that I said that I wanted to be a good friend. This is because I, initially, was trying to force myself to see her as someone I could marry, and I just couldn't. Are you not into the older women? It's probably just because their personality's really off-putting. OP included a voice message from her, but I was quite conflicted on if I'd actually include it in this episode or not. Maybe in the last episode. I do want to do it, but voice makes it seem sort of real, you know? OP continues, why would I want to force myself to marry Skypebeard? Well, I'm desperate for one, but also because I wasn't into women, and I didn't want to be gay. Interesting. And based on Skypebeard's accent, I can tell which region of the US she came from, at least. But I'm thinking that OP ain't too far from her, given this information. I hope you've come to terms with yourself since. However, the heart wants what it wants, you know? And mine did not want Skypebeard. Then again, maybe I'm straight, and it was just Skypebeard that was the problem. Oh, see? Now we fixed it. Oh, man. Jokes aside, I made it clear to her that I wasn't interested in her as a mate anymore. You didn't say as a mate, did you? Because that is very off-putting. Skypebeard says,
Well, the feelings are mutual, don't worry. You see, I don't think I could love someone who would just abandon me for their parents.
OP? Yeah. Pretty sure she was trying to reverse psychology me, but it didn't work. Yeah, like I'm gonna abandon my parents for this woman that I hardly know, that I haven't seen once. Do you know the kind of work that they put in to make me exist? I'm not talking about the fun part. I'm talking about the years, the decades after. I would never abandon my parents for anyone. But this is what abusers do, isn't it? They cut out the most important people so they could have a monopoly on you. Skybeard.
Besides, I don't think I'm over my old boyfriend. Oh, Sky.
There was no old boyfriend. I do not know who Sky is. I've never met Sky, but damn, did she talk about him a lot. Sky is just an astral projection within her own brain. She's trying to mold you into Sky's image. There's a whole lot to unpack here. I like this story. Skybeard says,
I met Sky on an old furry role-playing server. Back when I used to RP as a hot male dragon man.
Hot male dragon man. Seems kind of redundant. Maybe he had like 4 dongs just hanging down like others. Then you could RP with like the whole server at once. I'm not actually trying to help here. OP also has an aside saying, yeah, you RP'd as a man and you don't know what catfishing is, huh? Maybe willfully so. Skybeard says,
we had such hot, steamy role plays. He was openly gay, and when he found out I was actually a woman, he was so surprised. However, he said he could learn to love me because he loved who I was. Isn't that so romantic?
Yes, it's just like in that movie, The Crying Game. This is something that actually happened to me, and not something that I saw in the movie, The Crying Game. This is where some of the seeds were planted that led me to try to learn to love Skybeard. Seriously, I want to smack my younger self and yell, run! Run, get the hell out! Right now. No, you can't do it. Then you wouldn't have learned the lessons that you need to learn to become the person that you are. It's messed up, it is. But you had to go through this. All part of the simulation. Skybeard says,
of course we were so happy with each other until his no good roommate stole him from me.
I mean, the roommate probably had the genitalia that he prefers. OP says, seriously, honestly, okay. Like, how many red flags did I blow through here in the name of finding the truth? What the hell's is wrong with me? It's all part of the simulation. Other MMOs have you collecting boar meat. This MMO, Life RPG, has you collecting psychological trauma points. But it is all in how you deal with it, and you got away. You became a stronger person for it. Osgood did not, so let's keep that in mind. Skybeard then goes into a tirade of how much of an tat that roommate was, how he'd lie about Skybeard, and basically forced Sky to break up with Skybeard. Oh, a heartbreak right there. Don't worry, we won't be talking about Sky too much, cause this is pretty much the only time that he was brought up. I mean, you did say he gets talked about a lot. Maybe this is the only time he was brought up in detail. And then his name was invoked to make OP step back into line over the course of the relationship or something. That's the presumption that I'm operating off of. OP says to Skybeard, oh wow, I'm super sorry to hear about what happened between you two. Maybe you'll find someone else. Skybeard,
no, I'm sure he'll come back eventually. He's thinking about me right now.
You sure? OP says, oh? How can you tell? Skybeard,
he just listened to Forever Green by Animal Collective. We used to listen to that song together all the time.
OP says, hold up. How do you know that he just listened to Forever Green by Animal Collective? To be clear, OP's not actually listing that song. I just think it's funny. We're forcing the Animal Collective meme, okay? Get over it. Skybeard says,
oh, it's because I'm subscribed to his YouTube account, and I can see his history because it's public. I know it seems like I'm stalking, but I just care about him. I want to know he's still alive and hasn't committed Minecraft. He has a history of doing that.
I think you could actually only do it once. That's a whole lot of cope, all right? This is your way of excusing yourself from doing things that you know are wrong. But OP just says, oh, okay. No, it's not okay. There is a lot to unpack here, as if her ex having bad thoughts wasn't enough of a sign, she was also stalking him to see if he'd come back to her. My God. At least we can maybe presume it's a real person? Maybe. After this, it was pretty much SSDD. To tell the truth, we did have good times here and there, as long as I'd behave like a good little bootlicker. SSDD is Social Services Development Department. I didn't know that. Thank God I never knew that. I'm sorry you have to know that. Despite the efforts Skypebeard took to keep me in line, I started seeing the cracks in her mask. That is not a hairline crack, that is a fault line is what that is. Is she even wearing a mask? I think it's just a red clown nose.
Honk, honk.
She's very obvious is what I'm trying to say. It was one evening after work. I went to get Panda Express and chill in the parking lot before I went home, and Skypebeard called. She was continuing a conversation we had last night about how she was finally getting over the passing of one of her friends. They apparently had their differences, but learned to put it aside long before they passed. Yes, definitely make this person's death about yourself. That rubs me extra wrong too, because my father-in-law did just die recently. And every night I'd go over there and get frustrated because yes, people were just making it about themselves. Still hurts a bit. Okay, moving on. OP says, yeah, no, that kind of sounds like you and me. Friends that have had their differences. And Skypebeard asks,
What do you mean?
OP, well, remember the way we met? How my parents weren't entirely trusting of you? We kind of had our own trial by fire, you know? Wait, how much time has passed between this story and the first one? Did your parents just get over it? I feel like we sort of glossed over that part and I didn't even realize until you mentioned it right now. At this point, Skypebeard gets angry and says,
Why are you bringing up old stuff? You think that's funny?
She sounded genuinely angry, like I had just kicked her puppy. OP says, what? No, I was just thinking, I mean, isn't the way we met kind of the same? Disobey, get punished. It's got a lot of Stealthbeard vibes there. Skypebeard says,
I don't want to hear about that all the time. I'm over it. I've moved past it, and I've let it go, and it doesn't bother me anymore. Why would you bring it up?
You know what? I think it does bother you still a little bit. To ReddX, I'm genuinely asking you here, what the hell just happened? Like, am I missing something? Or did that come out of left field? Definitely didn't come out of left field. She carries wounds about it, dude. Even if your parents did finally let you continue to talk to this woman, I'm sure they're not exactly approving. As far as I remember or can tell, the situation is still evolving or devolving. Your parents ain't into it, that's what I'm trying to say. So no, not out of left field. She always has this in the back of her mind. She has not moved past it, she has not let it go. The worst part of all this was her trying to gaslight me into thinking that I was the one who had a problem and was angry. This served as the first crack to her mask that I had to acknowledge. Well, the first clue that you picked up. I knew what she was doing, and even though I had every right to call her out on it, OP said, I'm sorry, let's just talk about something else. Obey, get rewarded. What's the reward? Interacting with this human further? Never actually finding out the things that she told you that she knew? There is no reward. Even the obeying gets the punishment. Skypebeard says,
Okay, fine. I'm sorry if I might have yelled a bit. I'm just done with that time in our life. It doesn't bother me. And you should learn to let that stuff go.
She's not moved past it. She's not let it go. I promise you, reader, that this is exactly what happened. I don't know how she thought she could flip the script and expect me not to notice. Like, come on. Unfortunately, for people like Osgood, these signs might not pop up as often enough. And even if they do, there might be a chance that the victim is already trained to only submit. I mean, if we're drawing parallels here, that would imply that Osgood had some type of rebellion, and I just don't see that coming out of him. He was the type to literally lay down and die. That's why he's still in the situation. That's why you're not. Yep, simulation working as intended. Months have passed by now, and we are going into summer. I began taking more shifts at my part-time job, and little did I know, I'd be taking more jobs than just my own. Oh, is that foreshadowing? I'd like to clarify for those unaware, Skypebeard lives far, far away from me. Thank God, too. This information is going to be necessary for what we're going to be getting into. So I just get off work, right? I'm feeling good, stress is subsiding. I run over to the store by my work and pick up a Zenify drink because I'm feeling special. That's right, everybody deserves a little treat now and then, huh? And then she calls. OP, hey Skypebeard, how you doing? Skypebeard,
Zed! It's gone! It's all gone!
She sounded distraught, horrified, like someone had just died. OP, what? What happened? What's going on? And with that cliffhanger, we're just gonna leave it right there. Ooh! That is all the time I got for today. I'm trying to write this out while I still got motivation to do so. Hearing Red read the first part of my story is like a bard spamming inspire on a dying party member. Thank you so much. I usually roll paladin, but perhaps I am a bard in real life. I don't know how to use a warhammer. Is referencing D&D even more foreshadowing? Am I ever gonna stop being upfront with my foreshadowing? What do you want from me? It's my story, I do what I want. I mean, I give you carte blanche to write whatever you want, but just realize it's also being judged at the same time. Jokes aside, I hope y'all enjoyed this cautionary tale, and if Skypebeard is listening to this by chance, fight me! I regret nothing. That's what OP said, not me. Far be it from me to try to defend these spurious accusations in a courtroom. Or a boxing ring. I'm really not good at much except telling poop jokes, you know? Until next time, remember, the Reptilians did nothing wrong, don't trust your government, and I will see y'all soon. Zed. I like the idea of benevolent reptilians. Like their third eye is just open so they can see through to all dimensions and realities. Peeling back the different layers of the simulation. Maybe all of our crazy beliefs can coexist in harmony, except for Skypebeard. As a human being, just really strange and manipulative, and yes, I could see how you'd fall into the trap as a young man. It's easy to look back with 3 decades of life experience to a point where you only had 2 and be like, I should have seen that coming. That's why you gotta talk to your parents, your grandparents all the time, you realize that, right? Even if you don't take their advice, just have the advice for later. That's your task for the day. Tell a family member that you love them. Always pick your family over weird, shadowy Legbeards from the internet. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We got a link to more Osgood stuff since these 2 series are parallels, at least somewhat. And I linked that on the end card for you. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy. You definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye. Go ahead and cut them open. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be